We've been conditioned for generations and generations to feel guilty for who we are. Our priests, our rabbis, our imams, they all told us that we are sinners if we don't, and you should not. Don't be joyful. Don't enjoy the pleasures of the life. Sexuality is being the number one handcuffs. When you make a person feel guilty, you can control them. And society is telling us you have to become. They don't tell you, enjoy yourself, you are already. No, you have to become somebody. And we carry it since Homo sapiens became what it is. And then it translates itself also into our daily life. Because when we don't feel certain or secure in our self-esteem and we are not settled and grounded and rooted in our peace, we are more susceptible to shrink. Or sometimes a person is like a coil, a spring coiling. Guilt, coiling, and then rebelling. Sometimes the rebelling is to the other extreme. Walking around with a fuck you, I don't care about anyone, I do what I want. It's another extreme because that is not sustainable as well, to live in a conscious and a peaceful society or relationship. Rebelling is the first step to become a spiritual seeker. A person who is not rebel will not become a seeker. His rebelling is needed because you have to throw away the answers that was given to you. You have to it does not belong to you. It is a knowledge that was transmitted to you. Even if you are following someone who is telling you the right things, but it has to become your experience. It has to be validated. You cannot turn it into a theology or a concept. So rebelling is throwing away the borrowed answers so you can have space to discover it. This is always the first step in spirituality. And sometimes rebelling is clumsy. Sometimes people also come here, the rebelling is like, hey, tone it down a bit. We are not, you're barking at the wrong tree. So rebelling is this, to start to break the handcuffs of society. And ultimately it is to claim. Now, when it goes to another extreme, like, fuck it, I will do whatever I want, or this is also obscene and unrealistic, because we do have a conscience, and we do have sensitivity, and we do have some sensors that are telling us, We have complicated relationships to many things, you know. When we go and consume something we're not supposed to consume because it creates packaging and plastic. And some people are writing to me that they are finding cigarette butts here outside, and it annoys them, and I like this. I like that people here get annoyed by this. I like this intensity, even, you know, I love intensity in people, because this intensity eventually is force when it directed in good direction, inwards or outwards, is a good engine. But we do have conscience, or when we eat something that our body doesn't want, it's our mind wants. And sometimes we all want to have chips. Or a pizza with dough and gluten. And we do. And it's tasty. Sometimes we all want to have an ice cream even though we know it's white sugar in it, you know, and stuff like that. We do have to feed sometimes, you know, the pleasureness and the shallow side of life. We can't... world without sinners would be boring. Okay? But when we indulge too much in that, and when our conscience is like, I don't want to feel guilty anymore, I will eat what I want, and this, we pay some price after that we don't want to pay. So we need to stay in tune with our conscience, with our sensors, with our... Sometimes a person thrown us their projection and judgment and blaming, and we feel guilty and shrinking. Sometimes the person is saying something, it's valid. Hey, you know, something for you to look at. When is when? It's complicated to say, impossible to say like this. But we don't want to go around with like a, you know, all puffed up, and we don't want to walk around like a shrinking, you know, that cannot draw the line and say, hey, this you don't cross. We want to walk around tall in this reality, with dignity, not with pride. To be in tune, to understand we are not perfect. We're not going to be, and we're going to stumble, we're going to sin. Sometimes we do good. To walk our talk. To try to help the people around us, you know, as much as possible, maybe to, if they expand, if they feel comfortable around us and they don't shrink, that's better, you know, they expand. And a person who is happy, comfortable in their skin, usually people around will feel more comfortable. It's like that, you know. That person does not come to you with, hey, you know, throwing on you what they are not sorting with themselves. It's many layers, it's complicated. Relating. There's no formula on how to relate with the other, and when is... You ask me a lot of questions. When and how do I know that this is it and this? I don't know. I cannot answer your questions. I don't know all these things, you know. When is the right time to draw the line? It depends. There's so many things, you know. I come to a situation, I read. If the person crossed the line, something that is not washing well in my system, is like, hey, maybe I will not even confront. I just walk away. Not interesting. Even here. You know, it's like this. But every situation has its own. But just without fear, without pride, honestly, sometimes when I read some letters, if I wouldn't be a civilized person and I wouldn't repress what I want to, I would go to that person, grab them by the neck and enough. Enough. How difficult it is to love yourself. What have we made such a complicated thing out of it? How much do I need to say it? How much resistance to like this self-cynicism of yes, but, yeah, I want to love, but it's too complicated. Sometimes the mind makes it, and it's something so simple. Just collect yourself into the moment. Drop in. See that there is infinity of beauty there, of divinity there. Put a tent there. Why are you putting tent always in the layer of the mind? It's not a comfortable camping there. Sometimes I see how much force we invest in our escaping, in our suffering. If we put this force, this intention, this sincerity, your letters are sincere, by the way, I really appreciate it. If we put this into like, decode this simplicity, and you ask me, how can I love myself more? If you ask, you are not ready to know. If you ask how, because I wanted to give you a method, a technique, how to love yourself more. Just freaking see that you are beautiful and you will fall in love. It's that simple.